Welcome, Patriots. It's December 8th. This is 00 Jericho with, well, it's a little something different today. We got some news, J6 news updates and chat going on, but we got a couple hours to kill. I'm in a beautiful spot in this country right now. I thought we'd just take a stroll around and look at some of this cool stuff we got around here. So today's Friday. This is day 1066 of the J6 prisoner of war situation we got going on here in America. And tonight they're going to have their 495th vigil in a row down at the Gulag. So more power to our Patriots. God bless the Patriots that are keeping that going on. Mickey Widoff, Nicole Reffett, Tamara Jackson, the core, the group down there. And then we got the People's Media putting the news out. 1791 Stormtrooper, Freedom Express Media, who, by the way, earlier today did a little live show, and well put together. If you get a chance to watch that, do. It pretty much states what's going on. We're revealing the wickedness, we're revealing the lies, we're revealing the evil that has overrun this country. So if you got a little bit of time and you just want to stroll around here for an hour or two, that's what we're going to do here on this. If not, go check out David's stream from earlier today, get some good information, and check out all the other information. It's our job, Patriots, to put this word out, man. It's government state media versus we the people media, and they are trying to take us down, no doubt about it. We are under attack, but we are persevering. It was really cool to see Sherry back. Sapphire Patriot is back on Freedom Corner. That was something very, very cool. Very good to see you, Sherry. You're looking healthy and well and ready to go for another however long it takes here. Hi, Sherry Thomas. Hi, Wild One. Yeah, did you catch David's show? It was awesome. Hi, Sean, our correspondent in Chicago area, Illinois. How's it going, man? In the battle. Hi, Deb. Bye. I'm getting better on the watermark thing, Deb. Bye. So if you got something better to do, I would say go do it. We're just going to stroll around here. Silly, this is for you. I don't know if you're watching or not. If you're just trying to take it easy today and you need something to watch, this might be kind of fun. Hi, oh, there you are, Silly. All right. Well, I was thinking about you, Silly, resting in bed. And I thought, why don't we just take Silly around and show her some cool old buildings here. I know how much you love history. So this is where the camp has been for the last 2 weeks, and it is several thousand acres. It has a lot of different things around here. Yeah, the weather is beautiful. That's why I said, let's get outside and do something here. We're praying for you, Silly. We're praying for you. So right here is the Patuxent Rural Life Museums. They're not all open right now, but there is, what caught my eye was this building. They have an original chestnut log cabin here. And I just thought I gotta go look at this, man. So chestnut trees pretty much went extinct here in America. When? I don't know, the early 20th century, early 1900s, the chestnut trees got something that killed them. And they used to be all over the place. They were some of the most magnificent logs that the pioneers used to build things. And it was also a huge food source for the animals, the deer that were in the woods. And they have since gone extinct. There's very, very few of them alive anymore. I used to hike the Shenandoah Trail down and through Virginia there in the 80s and 90s, and There used to be what they called ghost chestnuts, which were massive, massive chestnuts that had died, but they were still standing. All the bark had fallen off of them, but man, were they beautiful trees. And the pioneers used them to build things. And this cabin is apparently built with chestnut logs. This is a little history of it here. We can zoom in on this, hold the camera still. We get a screenshot of this later and read that right there. This hand-hewn log cabin was built in Aquasco, Maryland around 1880 as a farm tenant house. This one up and one down design with one room and a loft was typically used for slave cabins during the early 1800s. By the late 1800s, it was the standard style for most low-income households in rural America. Notice that the chimney is leaning on a pole. This was a safety precaution adopted in response to frequent chimney fires. The pole could quickly be removed, allowing the chimney to fall away from the house, thus saving the cabin from fire. That's news to me. I never knew that. And there is a big pole hanging off of it, holding up the chimney. Chimney does have kind of a slant to it out that way. The Truman family's oral history attributed the construction of this cabin to former slave Charles Duckett. In 1864, Duckett enlisted in the Union Navy, joining the 19th Regiment of the United States Colored Troops, Company 1. At the end of the Civil War, Duckett worked as a farmhand on the Truman property in Aquasco. He built this cabin around 1880. Later, Duckett probably married Juliet Blake Gross, also a former slave. The cabin was occupied until the 1920s. In the 1970s, the Truman family donated the abandoned cabin to the MNCPPC. Restoration of the cabin was completed in 2002 using many of the original hand-hewn chestnut beams. During the reconstruction and relocation of the cabin, staff used 19th century techniques wherever possible. Got dovetailed corners on this thing, shake roof. I guess this used to be suburbia back in the day. Yeah, there's fewer and fewer places like this anywhere. What I've seen happen to them is this log rot starts happening in the first or second course of the logs. And there's some like right there. And that's hard to remedy. Right here we got what looks like red sandstone mortar for the chinking. The chinking is if they put between the logs. Not too many log fireplaces or log chimneys left anymore. And right outside, gotta have one of those. I saw where Tucker Carlson just interviewed Alex Jones, and they were talking outside of Tucker's outhouse. I don't know if they showed the inside, but Alex Jones says it's a nice outhouse. Oh yeah, look at that. Sun hitting it, got the wash tub on the back porch. Little washboard hanging up there. The Cradle of Forestry in Pisgah Forest has restored a village to see. That's awesome, Belinda. I love these places. Belinda, the first home I remember living in as a child was like this. It is recent. It's not that long ago. got a little clothesline set up here. It's just so pretty here. I've toured the country quite a bit. I've driven cross country at least over a half a dozen times. And one of my pet projects is the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps. I love touring Civilian Conservation Corps projects that were all across the United States, east and west. And that was a wonderful program for young men in this country right after the Depression. The government funded training for young men. They could leave their families. They had to send their money home to support their families. And it just so happened to be right before World War II when we had to fight to save the world, and we had all these pre-trained young men. They lived the military barracks style life when they were in the CCC. This isn't a CCC project, I'm just mentioning it because it's just something I really am interested in. And a lot of those projects are still around. You could actually stay in officer cabins in Oklahoma where there were CCC camps. So here it is. We got the little chicken yard outside. Got the chicken house, got a little barn. And like the sign said, this has been relocated to this spot. This spot is a very well-run park by the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. I'm not sure what they're actually called, but they have done an amazing job with this park. The boat ramps are beautiful. We broadcast yesterday from a boat ramp that was here. They have trails, horse trails, canoe trails through here. There's something called the Star-Spangled Banner Trail. Native Americans in Plymouth, Massachusetts? I don't know. Patuxent Wampanoag Native Americans. Giant City State Park in Illinois. Yeah, I went there too. That is one of the places you can stay in, some of the officers' cabins there. And a beautiful lodge at that place, Allie. Yeah, if that's the same one I'm thinking of. It's in southern Illinois. And those rock formations are crazy, man. Crazy rock formations there. It is like a giant city made of rocks. And I got to stay in one of those officer cabins one time. All right, what do we got here? Oh, the Sears house. I've heard of these. We had a Sears house out in Washington where I used to live. The Sears house. It came in the mail. Sears, Roebuck and Company mail order homes. We can get that. Let's see, I'll read it to you. The mail order home in front of you was purchased by Mr. Lowe Steed from Sears, Roebuck and Company in 1923 for about $406. It is a quaint 3-room, no bath cottage. An outhouse could be purchased separately for around $40. The house did not have plumbing or electricity and was heated by the kitchen stove when the Steed family lived in this house in the 1930s during the Great Depression. Oh yeah, Ollie, that restaurant is the bomb. They got like a Sunday brunch there. I was like, it wasn't that expensive and it was good, and I didn't have to eat for a day or two after I went there because it was like a buffet. Sears, Roebuck and Company sold more than 100,000 mail order homes from 1908 to 1940. They had 447 styles to choose from. Some of these homes were very elaborate and built with high quality materials, providing everything one would need to live comfortably, while others were quite basic. The three types of homes offered were the honor built, the top of the line, standard built, and simplex. Customers could order a house to suit their lifestyle and budget. The ability to mass produce materials, cut manufacturing costs, and homes could be built faster and with less labor. The simplex homes could be put together by one carpenter. Your home would arrive at the closest railway station with everything you would need to build it. Pre-cut timbers, shingles, paint, nails, and even the kitchen sink. In 2004, the house was moved to this location from the Steed Farm located near Clinton, Maryland. It has been restored and furnished to resemble its original condition. This Sears home is a simplex sectional cottage. The model is in goldenrod. It was designed for resort communities, summer homes, and industrial housing. Although thousands of Sears homes were built in the United States, the simplex models, goldenrod, skywater, and double duty, are fairly rare. Not many of these homes were purchased because the public preferred the higher quality models. Most of those that were built did not survive over the years. Yeah, out where I live in Washington, this was the house that was there. It was a 2-story with an attic, like a 4-square type house. And it was in rough shape. It needed restoration. That was a potential project I was going to get when I was out there, but the guy never made a decision on it. And I thought that would have been cool to restore one of these Sears houses. And here we go. The outhouse for an extra $41. 4-square-foot outhouse. I wonder how much the Sears picket fence was. So in the summertime, all these are open, and they actually have like period dressed people looking in them or working in them, hanging out in them. Oh, look at that old stereo cabinet over there. All right, Owen Schroyer's out. I think I heard that in English Rose's chat there. There's the kitchen back in there. Looks like it's all drywalled inside. You could probably buy the quilt at Sears. You could buy the bedroom furniture at Sears. We got like siding, white paint, wood stove, nice brick foundation. This is very well restored, I would say. Got the $41 outhouse, got the pump, the well pump. Hi, June Dalton. We're just kicking back, taking a little tour. Some the Patuxent River Historical Buildings Museum. Looks like a sturdy little house. Too bad Sears isn't around anymore. What happened to Sears? The internet. That's what happened to Sears. Government came in and said no taxes if you buy stuff on the internet. That hurt the businesses bad. Hurt them really bad. Yeah, the old dinner bell. We had a dinner bell. We'd be out playing, man, and you couldn't play further away from where you could hear the dinner bell. All right, here we got the working the river. Yeah, the river's where I guess we just have some pictures in here. We got an old poster. Commerce on the Chesapeake Bay was huge. All right, Freedom Gal, welcome. Yeah, we're hoping you're feeling good, Sylvia. You just got to take it easy. Some kind of an old oyster dredge tool. Dredges up the oysters out of the muck on the bottom there. All right, it's last night at Freedom Corner. In case you missed it, Sherry's back. This has got the new Freedom puppy Mila with her. Dwight led a great prayer. Then we got this clown J6er Alan Hostetter, who represented himself pro se with Judge Lambert. He was sentenced to 130 months in jail. Alan Hostetter did not go into the Capitol. He did no assaults, but he had a bullhorn. What can you do with a bullhorn? You can express your free speech. Ooh, we got some wagons in here. It's hard to not get the reflection. This is the old blacksmith shop. So I guess this Alan Hostetter guy was rallying people to go into the Capitol, and the DOJ doesn't like that. They don't like you expressing your free speech. The only trouble with Alan Hostetter is he's got a couple of crazy theories about what happened inside the Capitol there. Not a friend of Mickey's, if that tells you why. There is a contingent of people who don't believe that Ashley Babbitt was actually murdered, that whole thing was some type of a production, that she's not really dead. They just made it look like she was killed. I cannot buy into that. I've been involved with the J6 stuff since the get-go, real seriously for the last year. And everything I know says Ashley Babbitt's dead. Roseanne Boylan's dead. There are 4 dead patriots. Kevin Greason, Benjamin Phillips, all patriots that died at the Capitol on January 6th. And anything the enemy can do to muddy the waters on the clarity of what happened there, they will do it. And it's to keep your brain scrambled, patriots. This truth is usually pretty simple. So, apparently Mickey and Alan Hostetter met out in the hallways there, had a couple words with each other, and Alan Hostetter ran away from him. That was reported on by Nicole. Then we got a phone call from Jared Owens. They were talking about the illegal aliens. Tammy came up with a great term. The illegal aliens aren't illegal aliens. They are foreign voters. And we reported on that yesterday, where they are looking to conscript these guys into the military. And next thing you know, they're going to be voting. There's a map of the trail system. Maintenance yard. We are up in this area right here. Right up here. And then down here is the boat ramp. There's a canoe camp here. Very nice canoe camp. There's another boat landing right here. Got some cool trails. Ooh, look, there's a hill. Not too many hills around here. All right, and these look like some more modern buildings. Hey, here's your dinner bell. Here's the bell. I see it now. So Jared Owens and Tammy were talking on the phone about the foreign voters invading our country. I heard numbers of 20,000 a day. We just heard 12,000 people came in illegally the other day, the highest number ever recorded. There are reports that it is even more, way more than that per day. Men coming into this country with new clothes. They get $5,000 bank card. They get a phone. They get a free ride to wherever they're going. It's sick, people. They hate you. We hate them, and we got to take our country back. There's that dinner bell. These look like fairly recent modern buildings. These aren't historical buildings at all. Oh, nice. Somebody planted a holly tree here. It planted in honor of Norma Jean Baker. God bless our mothers. So Jared Owens is saying whatever we're doing isn't working at the border. That border is wide open. We the people want that border shut down. Apparently our government does not want that shut down. So whatever they're doing is working, because they're getting what they want. And then Jared and Tammy were talking about Chris Christie, about Vivek on the, that's pretty cool in there. This is the Tool Museum. That Republican debate, the fourth Republican debate that took place. Vivek was on fire, spitting truth, and now he's been warned. You got to get some security, Vivek. You got to get some good intel, Vivek, because they're going to be coming after you, bud. Wow, what's that? Some kind of mill, maybe? Mill or barrels, or I don't know what those are. I've never seen something like that before. Okay, then we got a phone call from James Grant. James Grant's been sitting in jail for 23 months now. 23 months. No trial. How is this America? They got onto the topic of the cop suicides. There were many cop suicides after J6. And pretty much every one of the families of these people who committed suicide are blaming the J6ers and have civil suits pending against J6ers for their suicides. Now, of course, you can't tell why somebody committed suicide unless they leave a note, and I think a lot of the evidence is very sketchy. I do have knowledge of a civil case against Julian Cotter, against a cop that committed suicide, and they are claiming that Julian Cotter deployed bear mace spray on this guy, and that caused him to commit suicide later. I know suicide is horrible, but now you can file a civil suit against somebody. And Julian Cotter, he's in jail. He's been convicted, sentenced. He was a J6er, and he's looking at a $2-point-something million death suicide case somewhere that's ongoing. Oh, that's great news, man. Patriot Mail Project calls on patriots to blitz the J6 political hostages with letters for Christmas. Amen. I do know that Zach Rail is requesting letters. He is in the hole. You haven't heard from him in about 10 days, 11 days now, according to his family. I know Howard Richardson needs letters too. He's got, he's here in Pennsylvania. Looks like an old millstone. Very cool. That's a small one though. I never saw one that small. It might have some other use. So this is the Tobacco Museum. Out where I live, tobacco is still a huge crop in Pennsylvania. I've got these beautiful tobacco barns. It's awesome watching the farmers plant it. They start them as seedlings. They plant them by hand. It's a very pretty crop when it's growing. They hand harvest it. Hey, Deb for Freedom. Coming up for air. Let's just get regrouped here. So the Lewisburg Vigil will be live tomorrow at 2 p.m. or 2:30, and they have calls lined up. Thank you, Deb. Thank you. That channel on YouTube is J6 Vigils. Sometimes I go down there with them and do my channel with them. I won't be there tomorrow though. Okay, I don't know what to make of this one, Sylvia. Massachusetts Rep. Ayanna Pressley calls for incarcerated persons and 16-year-olds to vote. Yeah, I don't know what I think of that. Hey, Greg Kelly, how are you, man? Haven't seen you in a while. We're doing a little history tour here, man. Here's your topic of interest. That was a millstone to grind tobacco. Okay. Is that for making the filler tobacco? Very cool. So in the summertime, all these are open, and they have period actors that man the booth. We'll go down here. Got a little walk out to the waterfront here. We got a nice waterfront. Wait till you see this. How you doing, Patriots? Not a lot of people here today. They have a nice little gift shop. A lot of stuff about bird watching here. Like I say, just a gem of a park here in Maryland. Okay, after James Grant called, Chris Quaglin called, and Jen Baker took the phone call there at Freedom Corner. Jen has been at Freedom Corner several times. And Chris Quaglin got on there and started talking about the grievance system. A lot of what we don't know of what, jail life is like, all right? You don't know until you've been there. Found out the other day they don't even have pillows, okay, for one thing. So imagine that. They have steel beds with a little, 1.5-inch padded mattress that they put on there. They get stuff to supplement their food that the jail gives them. Chris Quaglin was just recapping all the grievances that he filed for his diet. He has celiac disease. He cannot eat gluten. Gluten tears him up. And he estimates that he had 3,000 meals served to him. The jail is supposed to give you 3 meals a day. Chris has been in jail over 1,000 days. And he estimates that 2,000 of those meals were inadequate for him to eat. And he went through periods of time where he lost lots and lots of weight. So Chris was just going over the grievance system and how it works. You file a grievance. 4 months later, you get a response to the grievance. It says your grievance has been denied. Then you got to file another grievance to re-grievance to grievance. It's ridiculous. At least there's a system in there somewhat, and there is a paper trail for a lot of the stuff. And I think a lot of if you're a J6er and something happens, you should file a grievance. Make it a document, get a paper trail going. Chris Quaglin said that eventually a judge had to order the jail to accommodate his diet. And even after that, the jail would not give him the proper food that he needed. So it's hell. It is hell. These men, of course, have not had their day in court yet. And, denied that, right? All right. Yes, Jen Baker does the Flip the Switch podcast on Rumble. Dun, dun, dun. All right, I think we're going to try to climb this thing, but I might have to take a rest halfway up it here. I'm not as spry and young as I used to be. All right, and then David did the roll call. Roll call's getting long. Looks like we got another older house here on the thing. We'll take a look at that from the top. This is an observation point here. Mickey got on and said, thank you, Patriots, for all the support that they're giving. Ohio Navy mom somehow got Buckeye treats out to Freedom Corner last night, and luckily David saved me one, so I got to have one too. And Mickey was saying thank you to all the awesome Patriots that are stepping up and funding them and giving them the ability to continue with the Freedom Corner Vigil for getting on 495 days now in a row, by the way. Nicole, here's a news flash. On January 6th is the 3rd anniversary of the January 6th is 3 years. It'll be 3 years this January 6th. So they want to do an event at the Capitol, and it was pretty vague what they were going to do, but now Nicole says that they're going to be joining with an organization called Look Ahead America, which is an organization that is looking to register people to vote, to try to talk people into voting. I looked up their website today. They're going to team up with that group at 12 o'clock at the Department of Justice building on January 6th next year, coming up very soon. From 12 to 2 o'clock, that protest will be occurring there at the DOJ with the Look Ahead America group. And then the Freedom Quarter Patriots and all that join them are going to march from the DOJ to the Capitol, where they will lay flowers in memory of the Patriots that died on that day. And from there, and then afterwards, they'll all meet back up at Freedom Corner at 7:30 to 9 or 9:30 is when the Freedom Corner vigil happens every night now. Nicole also said that America's First Warehouse up there in New York, Joe the Box and his brother are going to be putting on an event for the January 6th anniversary. So if you're up in the New York area, maybe you could look about joining in with those guys at the America's First Warehouse and make a nice patriotic stance there with Joe the Box. Joe the Box is an amazing patriot, by the way. If you haven't met this guy, he is charismatic. Dead for Freedom just did this really cool video. Joe the Box comes to the corner every once in a while and donates heavily for Freedom Corner. He's an amazing guy. Stepped forward when we needed a generator that one day. Well, anyways, he's a, how do I say it? He's an enthusiastic flag waver. And he was waving a flag, and then Dead for Freedom got a hold of that video and really did a cool, like, kind of, I don't know, I'd call it psychedelic, Deb. Little short video of that. If you haven't seen that yet, that's really cool, I thought. Okay, here we got Jen Baker's Rumble channel. Check that out. And there's Dead for Freedom's Rumble channel, and Dead for Freedom also has a website. Lots of resources there. And Dead for Freedom's also got that YouTube channel. Thanks for the link, Sylvia. I hope you're taking it easy. Okay, here's the Look Ahead America site. Read through what they represent, okay? And here's my problem: is I mean, I think it's a great organization. They want to get people to vote. They want to get people engaged in their government. And the problem is all they're going to do is get people engaged in another fraudulent election, okay? This is what we were talking about in camp this morning, is the election is still rigged. It's still rigged in Pennsylvania. Seriously, okay? Government, every state would have to come in and change their election laws to unrig it, basically. We would have to have 50 different fights in 50 different states to unrig the election. And of course, all our upper level representatives are compromised. So what do we do, America? What do we do? And this is a topic that we've been tossing around here on 00 Jericho. We got 48 weeks to do something. I recommended we start with a little bit of repentance. I've been meditating on that all week. And we got to understand how we can honor our King. And without the acceptance of the blood, he shed on this earth to atone for our sins, to atone for our sinful nature that we inherited from our fathers and grandfathers, we have no chance at a reconciled relationship with God. But all it takes is repentance. Repentance changes everything, patriots. It changes everything. It's the loophole. Okay, and then here we got Joe the Box, America First Warehouse. If you're up in that New York area, man, check it out. A bunch of patriots from Freedom Corner have wound up there. Tommy Tatum, Tammy, David, Gary McBride from Memphis News has been up there. Good patriots, man. Get in on it, New Yorkers up there. A lot of New Yorkers sitting in jail right now from J6. All right, and then thanks for putting this one up. Silly for him. This is my only way of getting donations, and I do need donations. I appreciate everybody that has donated so far. That has allowed me to continue going after I came back from DC a month and a half ago. I started doing an updates show every day, or at least 5 or 6 days a week, and trying to fill people in a shorter format on what happened at Freedom Corner last night. It's cool to sit down and get into chats at Freedom Corner, but that's a 2.5 hour event, and a lot of people don't have all that time. A lot of the people that are saying they don't have that time are people who have like farm animals and work to do around their farms. And a lot of the appreciation that I get is from people that are home, you know, have some type of a farm going on at their house. So what I try to do is condense all the relevant information from Freedom Corner into a half-hour broadcast. And then, silly for him, with the links, we'd get into some news every day, relevant stories, finding news sources, finding part of people that are in the network now. Because it's basically state-run government media against us. And now, there isn't us. We have media. We have some control over some media with these YouTube channels, believe it or not. So if you can, patriots, send me a donation. Definitely send up the prayers for me and all of us that are standing up out here. It's risky. It's scary sometimes, but we're doing it. But mostly the prayers, patriots. They get us through a lot. Well, hello, two-finger typer B. How you doing? Okay, so that's the scoop on the January 6th events that are happening in DC. They're going to team up with that group, Look Ahead America, for 2 hours, march to the Capitol, lay flowers, and then have a vigil afterwards. That would be a fun-filled Patriot vacation day. If you're looking for a reason to come to DC, that would be a great day to do it. Get a hotel room, hang out with the Patriots at Freedom Corner, get in on a little history, because, man, J6 is history, man. No doubt about it. Hey, Jerry, good to see you, bud. All right, look at this. There's some massive house over there. A mansion. I wish I could zoom in more. So if you're thinking of coming to DC, man, January 6th is a good time to consider that, man. And that's in 28 days, 29 days now from now, on January 6th, 2024. And then the end of the night at Freedom Corner, Jeff Sable called in with Daniel Ball. They organized the Sing for Freedom National Anthem at 9 o'clock, and they sounded great. They are sounding good. You guys remember when they recorded it with Trump doing the Pledge of Allegiance, interspersed into the national anthem, went to #1 on the Billboard charts. Another verification, Patriots, that we are a majority in this country. The mainstream media just wants to lie to you and tell you that nobody believes what you believe. You're a conspiracy theorist. Truth is coming out, though. We are way more than we are led, than we are brainwashed to believe, man. Maybe we should start our own secret service. Hey, now we're thinking, Two Finger. Now we're thinking. My theory is the election is going to be rigged, and the only way to turn it around is for we, the people, to do something in a big, big, big way. We got to have paper ballots, ID, no machines, and all counted on the evening of the election. That's what we got to do. And however we got to organize that and make that happen is what needs to happen. Trying to get a pan shot here. Here's that big flock of white birds that I was seeing from the other location yesterday. I think those are seagulls, actually. So Jeff Sable and Daniel Ball, they were talking about how, wow, it was a great day in jail because they all got haircuts. And then he went, but of course we didn't get fingernail clippers. They got to keep those dangerous fingernail clippers out of their hands, or bad things could happen, I'm sure. They'd have no access to, scissors or fingernail clippers. And that's just becomes a way to wield tyranny over their heads in jail. Many of these guys, innocent until proven guilty, mind you. And this is how they're treated in there. Jeff Sable also heard a story of FJB walking around naked in the White House. FJB walking around naked in the White House. How about that? And then we were having a beautiful God sky moment this morning, and then all of a sudden these started showing up. There's an old one. There's a recent one. They start off looking like that recent one, and then they end up looking like these. The white haze. Yeah, they can be used as a weapon. We know that, Greg. Yeah. And it's logical when you're talking about criminals, but these men are innocent until proven guilty, and they have not completed their day in court yet. Some of them have, and they're waiting on sentencing, though. Then at the end of the night, I forget if it was Mickey or Nicole, was talking about this group called Stand in the Gap, and they are collecting J6 stories from J6ers, from spouses, from parents, from children. Ooh. Okay, I had to sneeze. All right, it's been confirmed. On drugs and naked. That FJB is quite a guy, quite a character. quite a character. Okay, good link here, because I know they're affiliated with another group. Stand in the Gap Foundation. Okay, that was it. I thought they were with the American Freedom Project, and we were trying to find it this morning on the phones, but we couldn't find it. Stand in the Gap, looking for J6 Stories, an advocacy organization that focuses on reentry, family services, and justice reform. So they are looking to get more contribution, stories contributed to this reference that they're going to have, and it's part of history, right? Start writing the history. Who gets to write the history for this era? Are we going to write it, or are we going to let them write it? So that covers Freedom Corner. We got through it there. It took a little longer because we were talking about other things. We got a lot of stuff here written. Let's see. The Patuxent is the longest river entirely within the state of Maryland. People have lived along its shores for more than 13,000 years. The river looked very different to indigenous peoples because the large marsh in front of you did not exist. Instead, the water flowed fast and clear with small marshes lining the banks. Well, I suppose they took pictures of that 13,000 years ago, and that's how they know. If this is a tidal basin, there is a tide here, so I don't get why they don't think marshes used to be here. Some of the signs are a little odd once you let the green people start printing the signs. For instance, there was near our camp, there was a sign, and there was a big field there. Okay, here's a link. Sorry, I got distracted. Operation Love Wins and J6 newsletter sign up to donate the real J6 merch. That's another good organization put together with patriots. Okay, isn't that the same Alex Jones who lost a court case when the parents of a school student sued him because of what he had said about their dead son who was killed in a school shooting? And here's what I'd like to say to you, Greg Kelly. If you just want to gobble up every bit of information that you see on mainstream media and accept it as fact, you're more than welcome to do that, okay? We're talking about the school shooting. I don't even remember what it was called. But yeah, they sued Alex Jones $1 billion and recently offered to settle for like $8 million, some very, very much less amount. There is all kinds of weird information about that school shooting. Sandy Hook, it was Sandy Hook. There is more information from other sources on Sandy Hook shooting, a lot more. And I'm not accusing you of that, Greg, but yeah, the mainstream media came out and said, here's what happened at Sandy Hook. And I was watching it as it happened that day. There was all kinds of fishy stuff. There were things that happened that have been covered up by now. There was 2 guys walking up the hill behind it when the helicopters first got there. Every single car in the parking lot was pointed in the same direction. They were saying that that school wasn't even operational. It had a mold problem. They had shut it down. There is all kinds of weird stuff there. A lot of the houses in that area got paid off by somebody on Christmas Day shortly thereafter, man. I'd imagine Alex is broke, yeah. There is a lot of information, is what I'm trying to say, okay? And I don't accept anything liars tell me. And I know mainstream media has been lying to me for decades. I don't believe a word they say anymore, and I go try to find out the facts myself. There was other things, man. That whole Sandy Hook thing was organized from the get-go. They had signs. They had and most of that stuff has been censored off of YouTube. It was all up there for a long time. A lot of that is censored right now, which also verifies something about the fact that it might have been truthful information. We know the upper levels of our government are compromised. We know our justice system is being used as a weapon against our own citizens here. So we just gotta keep our heads screwed on straight. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that you can start looking at. I'm looking at the Israeli-Hamas thing. Something doesn't smell right. Something doesn't smell right there. And what should we all be looking at right now? Is J6 tapes, okay? And what is everybody looking at right now? They're looking at Hamas torture videos and victim interviews and, and I'll tell you, I'm not watching any of that stuff. I'm not. I just can't take it. What matters to me here in my front yard is those J6ers sitting in that prison. The fact that we got a rigged election about to happen again. We have no recourse with our representatives. We scream and pound our feet and bang the table. And they continuously ignore us and stonewall every effort that we want them to take. But if they want something that gets done in a week, I've had it. So we got 48 weeks to make sure that election is secured. And I don't know what we're gonna do. I believe that that God is gonna lay a path out for us. And we gotta take one step at a time, day to day, walk the path that's laid out in front of you, and God will lead us to fix this. Yeah, Jerry, I know I'm not the only guy, but man, just talk about it and look what they did to Alex Jones. Just free speech. Look what they did to Alex Jones. Look what they did to my sky while we've been standing here. This is sick. Yeah, this is the tidal basin on the Patuxent River. How about that? Look at that. Right, Alex Jones, he'll fight until he cannot fight anymore. And then Tucker just did this interview with him. So Tucker being on away from Fox was the best thing that could have possibly happened. $1 billion settlement. I mean, if that, right, you're going to charge Alex Jones $1 billion. How does he even have $1 billion? I mean, you can't get blood out of a stone. And every day I look up in the sky and I see this. I point to it and say, what's that? What is that? That doesn't have any effect on global whatever, climate change. Here we got a new one, laying down a new one. What is that? I don't know, it just boggles my mind. This is the world we live in. We're still standing though. A couple of cool little news tweets I heard today was, it's a sad day to be a cherry tree. You guys all remember the story about George Washington? He chopped down his dad's cherry tree, and then his dad confronted him with it, and George Washington said, "I cannot tell a lie. I chopped down your cherry tree." Well, we're about to chop down the lies here in America. And here's a reminder, the world can live without politicians, but it can't live without farmers. The world can live without politicians, but it can't live without ranchers, people who provide our food for us. And of course, we had the Tucker Alex Jones interview. And then I don't know if you guys know who Lloyd Austin is. Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense of the U.S. military. Behind closed doors, was talking to our House of Representatives about funding Ukraine more, giving them more money. And basically, if you don't fund this, the Ukrainian war, we'll send your uncles, cousins, and sons to go fight Russia. That's what Lloyd Austin had to say. Is this America or what? Lloyd Austin, the highest ranking man in our military, threatening the representatives that we've elected. Okay, Greg Kelly, Texas just is trying to pass a law to stop chemtrailing over Texas. So if those are contrails, why would Texas be starting up a lawsuit that chemtrails must end over Texas? No more chemtrails over Texas. There is a difference. The difference between them has been obscured. We don't know what they are because they hide the information from it. There's patents for it. It's a thing, man. These are not contrails. I remember contrails when I was a kid. They're very short. They don't linger in the sky like that. They don't come in patterns, you know. We got air flight paths out of the airports around here, but these things are put up as patterns. Every cloud you see in that shot of the sky is a chemtrail. And yeah, that one that just flew over, Greg, it was very short while we were watching it on the Zoom. But look at it now. For some reason, it lingers when it's right there. Here's what I would consider a contrail. It's very short. See it right there? That's what I remember contrails when I was a kid. Cloud seeding was a thing that they did. Yes, there's patents on all of that, but there are also patents on other things that are not cloud seeding. It was actually a scientific theory that was tossed about when global warming was a thing. That Bill Gates, I think, was the guy talking about it. If we can put clouds in the sky to shield the earth from the rays of the sun, we can cool the temperature of Earth. It was scientific 30 years ago. So I don't take kindly to Lloyd Austin coming into my House of Representatives and threatening them and telling them, we will send your uncles, cousins, and sons to go fight Russia. I don't take kindly to that. That's a threat. That's a huge threat, as a matter of fact, because they have the power to draft your children, your grandchildren. All right, Patriots, that was fun. What do we do? About an hour and 10 minutes here. Got a little bit of history. I learned a couple things there. Learn something new every day. That way you're not getting dumber, you're getting smarter. Never knew about the post on the chimney thing. Never heard of that before. Or the tiny millstone. Thanks for putting that information out there. I'm going to wrap up this video. We got our updates in, we got our news in, we had a nice chat, learned a little history. This is what it's all about, man. This is the part where we want to make America great again, where this is what we're talking about all the time. We're sharpening each other, okay? Somebody's got information, let's share it. If you got something that debunks information, let's share it. Let's discuss it. Let's get to the bottom of it. And one of the things we got to get to the bottom of right now, Patriots, is how to secure the 2024 election. It has got to be done. Donald Trump can't do it. Our representatives won't do it because we've been asking them to do it for the last 8 elections, okay? When Barack Obama got elected, they were all screaming election fraud. All the way back to Al Gore and George Bush running against each other. And the hanging chads in Florida, right? Why do we need a chad machine, a punch machine, to make our votes? Let's just have a piece of paper and we can fill in the squares, and then a representative from both parties sits there and watches somebody count it and make a mark on a paper and do it. Or why don't we just have a jar and let's just vote with jelly beans, okay? You want to really make it simple? Let's just vote with jelly beans. When you walk into the voting place, there's 2 jars for president. You want this guy to be president or you want that guy to be president. You throw a jelly bean into the Trump jar, okay? Everyone who walks in there can see, oh, the Trump jar's this full, the FJB's jar is that full. I don't see any problem with that. We got to have IDs. You got to be a citizen to vote in this country. Man, women, old people, everyone can vote in this country. Everybody has a stake in the continuance and prosperity of the United States of America. There can be no secret information. I got to know who's on Epstein's flight logs now so I can know who not to vote for. Because am I accidentally voting for some guy who went to Epstein's Island and did things with whatever, you know, did things that he got compromised for? The FBI cannot be hiding any information. That has to end. But that might not end until we take over elections and get the people that we need in power to do that in power. And the only way we can do that is with a fair election in 2024. And then the people we elect will take care of those things with our help. We can't just do one thing and then sit back down on the sofa. This is going to have to be a new era in Americana, all right? We have to be civically minded and involved in everything that goes on in this country. We have to have a free flow of information. You can't censor how to fight a virus that comes to town, you know? You can't tell people that you got to fight this virus this way. You can't. They actually talked us in thinking that you could have a virus, but you're not sick. Asymptomatic. I never heard of such nonsense, but everybody gulped it down in this country. Everybody. Because it came from a source that we trusted, the CDC. That we didn't know that CDC was so compromised, okay? But that has been exposed now. We didn't know the DOJ has been compromised to the point where they're throwing people in jail for 1,000 days without even giving them a trial. We know that now. We're exposing it. That's what we're here for, Patriots. The people's media is showing that to you. The mainstream media has done none of that, hasn't showed you anything, and they have censored the information that proves it's true, all right? So this has got to be a new era. This is a new awakening. We're going to call the big lie a big lie, because that's what it is. That election was rigged. I'll say it till I die. I saw what I saw. I know what I know. Donald Trump won that election. And we're just going to keep marching down that path as long as God lets us do it. So thanks for joining with me on that battle. Thanks for joining with me on that battle. We need everybody involved, all hands on deck. Trying to flip it around here. The birds are flying. And then, Silly, yeah, we hope you're feeling better, sweetheart. We love you. Yeah. I don't know, man. Everybody got a good idea. I kind of like the jelly bean idea. It's simple. It's real simple. You just hand a person a jelly bean, and they go into a little booth, and here's the president booth, and then here's the we got bald eagles. 3 of them. Oh yeah, America. Oh, I hope he flies over here. Yeah, it was 3 bald eagles, Patriots. Cool, thank you, God. He does something cool every time I get out here and do something, man. All right, Patriots. Pray for us out there. Keep us empowered with God's love and wisdom and courage. And we'll check you out at Freedom Corner tonight. I'll see you in the chats. God bless you, Patriots. This is Jericho, over and out.